Good morning. Today I'll be taking Turkish Airlines over to Istanbul from Almaty and then onwards to Berlin. Right now I'm just over at the duty-free trying to escape this chaotic mess of an international airport before my flight boards. But luckily my boarding time should be coming up soon, assuming there's no delays, so let's go find my gate. But although it is technically boarding time, my flight is not yet ready to board. And I do usually like to start any flight, economy class or otherwise, at a nice airport lounge. So while I wait for my flight to board, let's get to the bottom of why Turkish Airlines passengers are not able to access the lounge here at Almaty Airport. For some reason, this lounge lets priority pass in, lets everybody else in. Hi. So you don't let anybody in with Turkish Airlines status. Why is that?
Status boarding.
And so Turkish Airlines Gold, Star Alliance Gold, for example?
No Star Alliance, no Turkish.
Okay. Which airlines do you let in? Qatar Airways here? Qatar Airways Gold?
Qatar, yes.
Okay.
If you fly to Qatar Airways.
If you fly, yeah, I understand. And you let in people with SkyTeam Elite Plus? So like if the people are flying Aeroflot here, for example, and they come? No.
We have only this program.
Okay.
And Aeroflot, Lufthansa, Air Astana.
So you let in people with Lufthansa status? Lufthansa, yes.
Yes, if you fly.
If you're flying Lufthansa, but if you're flying Turkish, no. Why?
Not agreement.
And I'm finally just about to board, but honestly, Almaty Airport needs to get their stuff together because this is the worst airport experience I've had in this region by far, and their airport is a mess. But after an excruciatingly slow boarding process, I found my way to my beautiful middle seat. And already waiting for me there, I found a pair of headphones as well as a nice small amenity kit. You get stuff like an eye shade, some socks, and it's definitely a nice touch for an economy class flight.
For today, we planned our flight time after departure 5 hours 30 minutes. Along the route regional expect sabotage. We complete our preparation after the backsliding completion. We're expected to start our engines in 10 minutes. I will give you more information about our flight in the air on behalf of Turkish Airlines and my entire crew. Our ship has a flight.
And shortly thereafter, we did make our way over to the runway and take off. And really, no matter how poor my ground experience at Almaty Airport was today, the takeoff views that you can get here on a clear day are just jaw-dropping. I mean, this is such an amazing view that I'd consider dealing with that chaotic airport another time just to see them again. This Turkish Airlines flight is off to, well, a little bit of a bumpy start, because Almaty Airport was quite a mess, and then upon boarding, the flight turned out to be full, which is no fault of Turkish Airlines. In fact, they're doing good business. It's good to see that they're full. But the people sitting in front of me were a little bit less than kind about putting their seats back. So I'm a bit cramped here. I am in the middle seat in economy class, so to be expected a bit. But this is one of Turkish's longer flights in the 737 MAX that they operate. At a distance of over 2,000 kilometers and clocking in at around 5 hours and 30 minutes. So I'll be sitting here for quite a while. They just brought out breakfast, and I know that Turkish Airlines has pretty good food even in economy class, so I'm looking forward to checking that out. And it seems like according to the times that I'll be flying, they should probably be including lunch on this flight too. Not a bad deal. The main dish here is Turkish börek with some mushrooms. And it tastes pretty solid, not overly salty like you'll sometimes find with economy class food. And having a little fresh salad is a nice touch, especially for economy class on our medium haul flights. But one thing I've never really understood about Turkish Airlines is they have these kind of wasteful little plastic cups that they serve their water in. I've seen other airlines do it too. But why not just give out a bigger water bottle? I've seen a lot of the European airlines have started doing that, although they've taken away everything else. For example, you fly Lufthansa or Swiss right now and you get a pretty decent, I think, half-liter size water bottle. Don't really love these things. This is kind of a funny logo they have on the water too. I've heard another YouTuber say that it's actually the river water from the Bosphorus River. Of course, that's not actually true, but it's kind of funny. Taste the Bosphorus. And the dessert is this sour cherry yogurt. And then they had some sour cherry jam that's usually for bread, but I just don't feel like eating bread. So I put the jam in the yogurt. I'm interested to see if that's any good. The yogurt itself is a bit sour. It's much better with the jam. But honestly, I wouldn't serve that yogurt to a plane full of people. Like, it's only Turkish people. Maybe that's a common taste in Turkey. But around the world, just sour cherry yogurt with a very minimal amount of sweetness isn't really like something that most people are going to be used to eating. I like it okay. And we've been at cruising altitude for nearly an hour now. The crew came around pretty quick with the breakfast service. But overall the crew is emitting a bit of a colder feeling than I've had on other Turkish Airlines flights. It seems like this must just be one of Turkish Airlines' less experienced crews. Oh well. But the overall kind of poor feeling of service aside, this flight has been pretty okay so far. But I do have another 4 hours to go, so hopefully I'll at least be able to take a little bit of a nap or do something stuck here in the middle seat. Let's see. And a bit over 2 hours into the flight, I'm really regretting having chosen their flight on the narrow body plane today. The Turkish wide body flight to Istanbul on the A330 was leaving at 5:40 a.m. though, which would mean I'd have to get up at like 2 or 3 a.m. and I really didn't want to do that, so I selected this one, which leaves around 9:20 a.m. So in short, either way there would be some inconvenience, but I actually think it might be worth getting up really early or not even booking a hotel and just staying out until 2 a.m. to take the wide body flight in this case. We'll be checking out the A330 later in this video, so you can really get an idea of which aircraft might be better for you. But as the flight continued, I got a chance to get familiar with the in-flight entertainment. For a medium-length flight like this, there seemed to be a good enough selection of movies, shows, and some other stuff. Plus there's Wi-Fi on board this flight that works quite well. And it's a nice touch that Turkish Airlines offers its elite members some free Wi-Fi. But now that they've dimmed the lights, it's time to head to the restroom. And the economy toilets in the back of the aircraft are definitely not the worst, but there are only 2 in the back for economy class in this Boeing 737 MAX 8. And business class is separated, so you cannot go up there. But for being a full flight, the cleanliness level is definitely acceptable, and I did see the flight attendant cleaning the other bathroom, so I guess when they get too dirty, they come in. But still, overall spaciousness in this bathroom is a bit lacking. But again, this is a narrow body aircraft, but I did know what I was getting into, and now you know what you're getting into too. And although I could not access the lounge with my Turkish Gold status over at Almaty Airport, I will be able to access the lounge at Istanbul Airport, assuming everything's on time. And after nearly 6 hours in this pretty poor economy class, I'm definitely looking forward to taking a break in that lounge. And a few hours later, it was time for a small lunch. I got some tasty coffee as well, and the sandwich was okay. Strangely, I'd had a much better sandwich aboard one of their domestic flights just about a month ago.
Started descent for Istanbul International Airport and we are planning to land within 30 minutes, which is 35 past 1 p.m. local time. According to latest weather information in Istanbul, the sky is partly cloudy and temperature 15 degrees Celsius. On behalf of Turkish Airlines and my entire crew, actually pleasant day.
Ladies and gentlemen and dear children, welcome to Istanbul Airport, meeting point of the world. We hope that you had a pleasant flight. For your safety, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign has been turned off, and do not open the overhead bins. You may use your electronic devices.
And there's no jet bridge waiting for us, so the experience continues. And international to international at Istanbul Airport means going through security. But luckily there is a fast track line, which I took advantage of. 30 seconds through security. So I made it over to the Turkish Airlines lounge with time to spare. And on my way over to the lounge, I got a very interesting text message from Turkish Airlines saying that my flight is full, not necessarily overbooked, maybe overbooked, so there might be a chance that I can stay overnight here in Istanbul and get some compensation for that too. I don't know yet. But I do know that this is a nice lounge and I'm gonna hang out here for about an hour, and they've got some kebab cooking, so I'm just waiting for a minute. I'm about to eat some of that. For me, the Turkish Airlines lounge over here has some of the best food that you can find in a lounge. If I fly today or tomorrow, well, I'm kind of hoping tomorrow so I can get some compensation, honestly. Regardless, I'll be flying on an A330 because they fly at least 2 A330s every day from this airport, because Berlin has a pretty big Turkish population. There's at least 4 flights a day, sometimes 5, and that's just on Turkish Airlines. There's also Pegasus and a few other airlines that operate flights to and from Turkey from Berlin. But that economy class food was not that filling this time. Other times on Turkish Airlines has been more filling. So I'm really happy that they have chicken and either beef or lamb or a mix kebabs cooking right now. And it looks like it's just about to be ready. 1 plate chicken, 1 plate beef. One. Thanks. Yeah, no bulgur, vegetables, please. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Perfect, thanks. This lounge is a little bit crazy, yo. It's got baklava with pistachios, real pistachios, all different kinds of Turkish sweets, cakes, tell me another lounge that has baklava, that has pistachios in it. It's not run by Turkish Airlines. I don't think there is one. Okay, fine, there is AG and they have good sweets in their lounge, but their lounge is just nothing compared to this. We got a nice coffee station, tea station, Turkish tea. They do ayran here. In fact, I think I want some ayran. You know what ayran is? It's like fermented milk. Ooh. It's good. And they even have like a simit station. But every time the simit comes, it's gone in like 2 seconds. By the way, simit are Turkish bagels. They're not as good as New York bagels, don't get me wrong, but they are bagels and they're pretty decent. And there's like a huge salad bar and a bunch of other food here. And I mean, the food is like really good in this lounge. It's like eating in a restaurant. Kebab, baklava, everything else. I would literally book a connecting flight here to go nowhere just to eat this baklava. And I recently uploaded a video about my experience over at the British Airways lounge in London, and I got this interesting comment basically saying that everybody already knows about lounges, don't talk about them anymore. This is how many people are in the lounge. This is how many people don't know about the lounge. But whether you already knew about lounges or not, I do have my second flight coming up, and it's really unfortunate, but in the end, I've only had about 45 minutes in this lounge today. But for sure, regardless of any shortcomings that Turkish Airlines might have with their economy class on short, medium, or long-haul flights, their lounge is on point. And every time you fly this airline with a layover in Istanbul, if you have status, you're gonna have access. But I'm dragging my legs out of here because I got the flight to catch. Seating chart looks completely full. And hotel, right?
Yes, exactly. Okay. And transportation as well. Next flight tomorrow morning, 7:30.
That one. It's also on A330, right?
Yes.
So.
You take a seat now. I am calling the end of the morning.
Okay, we will be the last to board in that case.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
You take a seat. I will call to you, okay?
Yeah, we'll stay right
there. Thank you for understanding me.
But this time I did not get to voluntarily not board, and I will not get 400 euros or pass go. Excuse me, there's two guys in our seat, 6A, 6B.
This is...
There's people in our seat.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, dear children. This is Captain speaking. Welcome aboard. My name is Burak Akar, alongside with the Captain Timuçin Tolga Gündoğdu. We are in command of today's flight. Our flight time to Berlin Airport is 2 hours and 15 minutes. After preparations, we plan to start our flight in about 5 minutes. On behalf of Turkish Airlines and entire crew, I wish you a pleasant flight.
And here we are aboard a Turkish Airlines A330. It is a little hot in here because you have no control over the air conditioning. And someone did mistake Turkish Airlines for Southwest and commandeer my seat, but I just asked the flight attendant and got my seat right back. But we've pushed back and we're now on the runway just about to take off, so let's take in some nice views.
We are waiting for about 10 minutes. Thank you for understanding.
But eventually we started moving again. Istanbul Airport can get kind of busy. And just about 40 minutes after our departure time, we're speeding down the runway and we're about to take off.
Dear passengers, please keep your seatbelt fastened and remain seated until the seatbelt sign has been turned off. For your own safety, we kindly remind you to keep your seatbelt fastened while you remain seated and be careful when opening the overhead bin. Thank you.
And I've always found Istanbul Airport to be a nice place to take off from and also a nice place to have a layover. But the question at hand now is, will economy class on this A330 be any better than that 737 mess that we had earlier? And perhaps even more importantly, what does it mean when Skytrax rates an airline the best in Europe? Well, this older Airbus isn't equipped with Wi-Fi, so it definitely doesn't mean that they're guaranteed to have Wi-Fi. And the in-flight entertainment system is very old, but it works. And on this flight, meal service started very quickly after takeoff.
Would you like to drink?
Maybe some... You don't have pomegranate juice, right?
Sorry?
Pomegranate juice?
We have cherry.
I'll try it, yeah. Thanks. The salad was nice and fresh. And the kebab that they served was one of the better dishes I've had in economy class. Plus that cherry juice did wash it all down well. Now this is just speculation here, but if I had to guess, Turkish Airlines may very well be one of the best airlines in Europe. But the thing is, the route that I flew this morning from Almaty, Kazakhstan to Istanbul was not a flight within Europe. And now my flight from Istanbul over to Berlin is in Europe. The service is much better, the food is much better, and the flight is overall much more comfortable. So it seems that Turkish Airlines may have taken some sort of all-hands-on-deck approach for their Europe flights, while leaving flights to and from other parts of the world with potentially worse food, worse service, and a worse overall experience. Again, this is just speculation, but that's how it seems based on these two flights today. But all in all, Turkish Airlines can offer a decent economy experience no matter where you're flying. But that first flight was definitely nothing more than decent, and I only say decent because they gave me some food on board that economy flight. So while I will definitely fly Turkish Airlines again in economy and other classes, I can't necessarily recommend their economy class on every single route. But there does still seem to be some kind of base minimum for the economy product that they offer on all of their flights. So if you're flying with Turkish, you know you'll get like at least a meal, a decent seat, and hopefully some nice staff, although I didn't get that on my first flight. But I must have spoken a little too soon about the comfort of this flight because the seats seem to be maybe a bit broken or something. It is an older A330. Turkish Airlines, take a look at this. That is like an extreme lack of comfort. And I know this is an economy class flight, but really? You bill yourself as the best airline in Europe and this is seat 6A? So after a pretty poor economy experience earlier today and then a pretty great lounge experience, I'm having what turns out to be another poor economy class experience that could easily be remedied. And to be honest, part of it is not Turkish Airlines' fault. But then again, both the newer 737 MAX I flew on this morning, as well as this older A330 are outfitted with seats that recline a lot. And after having personally flown thousands of flights in economy class, I can say for sure that reclining in general doesn't have to be such an annoying thing. So to me, an easy fix seems like it could be to just announce some kind of reclining standards upon boarding and make sure the crew is trained on how to ensure passengers have some base level of comfort regardless of class that they booked. I mean, right this second, you could go on my channel and find a bunch of different economy class flight reviews during none of which I experienced any issues that involved reclining. And a lot of those airlines that I reviewed happen to be airlines in Europe too. So as for Turkish Airlines being the best airline in Europe, you know, take that with a grain of salt. If this is the best economy class in Europe, then I'd rather take the train. But I hope I've given you a good glimpse into what it's like to fly Turkish Airlines in economy class, and if you're interested in seeing a Turkish Airlines business class review in the future, then definitely let me know in the comments. Das gute deutsche Wetter.